You know, there are so many myths about food and farming that frankly, it's hard to keep track of them all. Whoppers like farming's old-fashioned, or all farmers are old guys chewing on wheat, or farming's easy. All you have to do is just spray some stuff all over the place and sit back and wait for things to grow. Or here in Canada, we only grow wheat and potatoes. Or my favorite, healthy food doesn't taste good, does it? Well, listen, here in Saskatchewan, the farmers are way too busy growing the world's very best lentils to waste time worrying about myths. And this is what the world's most productive agricultural region looks like right here. You know, like many Canadians, I've never actually been to the prairies. I mean, I've flown over plenty of times, but I've never been down here. And it's not until you get here that you realize how immense this is, how vast all of this is. It kind of throws you off, frankly. And then when you start to think about the fact that everything you can see here, absolutely every bit of this is food, it really puts things in perspective. And you start to understand why it does make sense to grow food here, where it's productive, where this is some of the best land on the planet, and ship it elsewhere. But it's also a good idea to keep this food at home, too. When settlers first crossed the Canadian prairie, they knew they'd found gold. They also knew it would take hard work to harvest that gold. Back then, a family of 8 would work a quarter section, 160 acres. Today, things are a little different. The average farm in Saskatchewan is over 1,500 acres, more than 10 times larger. Because our cutting-edge farmers have evolved to capture economies of specialization and scale. With some big machinery and big capital, one man can do the work of 100. Let's just say things have changed on the Nagel farm. Help me understand, how much of an impact has this GPS technology had on farming?
A massive impact. We've probably been using it for 10 years now, and it just keeps getting better and better every year. And when that stops working, you almost want to stop what you're doing.
Sure.
Yeah, it's had a huge impact on how we track our costs, our production, and just going forward, how we've become being able to produce more.
How does GPS technology make you a more efficient farmer?
It cuts our costs. Right off the beginning, we use less. You know, we're using less fertilizer per acre to produce a given amount of grain, less herbicides, less fuel, less labor cost. You know, it just keeps going down, and then we're producing more grain at the end of the day because of it. Yeah.
So from an environmental perspective, this is useful as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Less inputs.
Less inputs, yeah.
Excellent. While the boys play with their big toys, Sherilyn runs the farm from behind the scenes. She's an award-winning farmer herself and knows she needs a global perspective to stay competitive. She loves her toys too. And what leads to being a successful farmer? What does it take these days to be a successful farmer?
I think it's kind of a unique recipe, really. Technology has become a really big part of agriculture. We might be what you describe as early adopters. We enjoy the technology. We see tremendous benefits in terms of research for seed and variety development, all the way to the equipment that we're running. It's top technology. I think a lot of the next generation is going to get excited about agriculture. We used to think about agriculture in terms of dirt and pitchforks, and now it's all about science and technology and GPS and really exciting things.
And of course, lentils are legumes, which means that they're in effect seeds. Mm-hmm. So what we're looking at here is a whole lot of seeds on these plants, and they've got a pod on them, and you've got to somehow get that pod off. How do you do that?
The purpose of the combine, which is the machine that we use to separate the seed from the plant, and that's exactly the purpose of the combine, separating this seed from the rest of the plant, which will in essence be chaff at the end. So this is a very mechanical process, but they've come a long way with the new combine technology as well.
Humans have been growing and eating lentils for over 20,000 years. They're one of the world's leading sources of protein. And in recent years, Canada has become the world's leading producer of lentils as our grain farmers have turned to higher value crops. An acre of our land yields over 1,000 pounds of high-quality lentils. 95% of our crop is grown in Saskatchewan, and the vast majority is exported. Lentils may be green and red, but to the Nagels, they're golden. And Cheryl Lynn likes cooking with them as much as she likes growing them. We're on supper detail. Greek salad with lentils and beef stroganoff thickened with lentils. So the big question is, they can harvest lentils all day long, but can they eat them?
We're about to find out. Is supper at 5 o'clock going to be okay?
Yeah, that should work for us.
Do you want it at the south end of Freddy's or the west side?
The south end's fine.
Okay, right on, thanks.
Don't be late for the harvest meal. So how do we serve all this out there anyway?
How do we take it out to the fields? That's the best part.
As soon as they see the wagon show up, boom, they're coming for dinner. These guys are working 16 hours a day right now. There's no way they have time to make dinner for themselves. So that's what Cheryl Lynn and I have been doing. This is the grand tradition of the harvest supper. You hungry?
Getting there, yeah.
Yeah, we got a good supper for you in there.
Good.
I'm just the sous chef on this one though, the prep cook.
One more time, Claire.
You know, I've been cooking with lentils my whole life. They really are one of my favorite ingredients, but honestly, I've never really given a whole lot of thought to where they come from or how they get to me. So I've learned a lot here in Saskatchewan, but not just about lentils. I think the biggest thing I've learned is the passion and the hard work that Canadian families are putting into producing the world's very best lentils.